So UNICEF South Africa has released a U-Report poll that says 80% of young people say they've been directly affected by climate or environment-related events in South Africa. The report was released ahead of Young People's Day. That's at the COP26 summit in Scotland, which was held today. To talk more about the report, we're joined by the Chief Communications and Partnerships spokesperson at UNICEF, Toby Fricker. Toby, a very good evening to you. Grateful for your time on Newzroom Afrika. I was looking at some of the numbers from your report. 16% of children in this poll said that their education had been disrupted by issues related to climate and the environment.
That's right, yeah. No, thanks so much for having UNICEF on this evening. I think what we saw was really the broad-ranging impact of the climate and environment-related events that are happening today. So what we wanted to find out with the U-Report poll is what are the specific impacts of climate issues today? And like you said, 16% of people reported that their education had been disrupted in some way. We had around 20% saying that their home was damaged, and 14% who said at some point they had limited access to safe water. So what we're seeing is broad-ranging impacts of climate and environment-related events, and we're seeing them today. And that really is one of the sort of key takeaways that we wanted to get from the poll, just to understand, get a snapshot, a little bit of what our children and young people seeing on the ground in local communities. Mm.
You've again made the call for young people, children, youth more broadly, to be included and brought to the table as far as discussions on climate change, as is happening at the COP summit this year. But how do we open that space up beyond young people who, shall we say, are in the mainstream, such as Greta Thunberg, for example, to Kylie, who lives perhaps in rural KZN?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. I mean, I think what we saw from the poll was we saw around 29% of young people saying that they wanted to get involved in community initiatives, in local initiatives where they can really engage in the climate issues at their local level. And I think that is one of the key things, that young people are bringing up the climate issues and they can do things. We've been launching what is called the Yoma Green Challenge. We've been working through an initiative called Generation Unlimited to try and spark some ideas, to try and support young people who are coming up with amazing ideas to respond in their communities. And UNICEF and many other partners, it's really a collective effort to try and provide that support for young people who are determined to try and improve the environment around them. And I think that's absolutely critical. And I think at COP26, we've seen today at the sort of Youth Day, we've seen young people speaking out again. And that's not just Greta Thunberg doing her thing, but it's many other young people. It's two young people from South Africa who were there at COP talking about issues in South Africa and speaking out on those. And now it's up to UNICEF and other partners, government and many others at a local level, to help provide and amplify their voices, but also help to provide specific support to give them that opportunity to respond at the local level.
You've also noted a great deal of optimism then among young people for green economy jobs in areas such as tourism, agriculture, but would those be sustainable jobs and jobs that provide people with a good income, important, of course, in the South African context where so many people are poor?
Absolutely. No, and what we see with young people today is they're coming in and out of jobs. Today I was in Atlantis in the Western Cape, and we spoke to a lot of young people who pick up work, but they pick up work for a short period of time, and they don't necessarily develop their skills through that. I think the real advantage of the green economy maybe is that it is sustainable, that it is a way that we need to transition into the green economy to provide jobs now, but provide them in the longer term. And we saw the deal that was made, with South Africa at the heart of that, the Just Transition sort of partnership. And we hope that will provide the opportunities for young people to really move into the green economy, to move into sectors like agriculture, tourism, renewable energies. And those were three of the key areas that young people said that they're very interested in working in.
COP summit underway, COP26, the 26th one, happening in Glasgow this year. Currently, I mean, it's already been criticized today. We referenced Greta Thunberg has already been critical, saying it's just a gathering. And a lot of other people have said that real change will take more than just a couple of heads of state, or dozens of them, gathering to talk about the same issues over and over again. In terms of sticking to the commitments made at these COP summits, how good have world leaders been?
Well, I think change comes from every level. It comes from the local level. It comes from the higher level. We need governments, obviously, to commit to what they pledge at COP. We saw the hopefully sort of optimism around the just energy transition that was signed up with South Africa and other partners, like we mentioned. But I think it comes from multiple levels. And I think what we saw in the U-Report poll that was interesting was that young people had a lot of optimism. They had a lot of hope that the climate actions that were decided at COP this year would lead to something in the future, would lead to improve their environments at their level within their communities. And I think that hope we need to build on. We need to provide those opportunities for young people to then build on that hope, to have specific ways in which they can respond, but also then hold people to account. And I think that's critical. We've been setting up a citizen science project where young people will be able to, for example, to monitor water in their own communities and report that back to authorities, so play their role in holding people to account as well.
And Toby, quick one, just speaking of energy, are you currently being load shed?
Yes, I am, and I think this interview really speaks to the importance of renewable energy. I am being load shedded here, and as a result, I'm being lit up by torches from my phone. So I think the importance of renewable energy is absolutely critical. We're seeing that every day. I think now is the time for everyone to make that switch, to make that move, to really try and take it to the next level.
I thought you might have been load shedded or going for some sort of interesting lighting setup. Toby, good to speak to you. Thank you so much. Toby Fricka is with UNICEF, where he's Chief of Communications and Partnerships, speaking to us about their latest climate poll for young people in South Africa. Thank you, Toby, again.